My gosh, look at that. Look how deep that goes. We just got to go over that. I really slept it all last night. It is 1:09. We just got on our rope. We had breakfast. This weather is amazing. It's like 40 degrees out. No wind. You can hear we're just crunching along on ice here, and everyone else is back there. That's a better viewpoint of the group ahead of us. You can see him walking up there. We're off to a good start. Here we go. Oh. All right, you okay, Seven? You're gonna have to be ready for a big step. Good job. This stuff right here, it's like walking on the moon. There's like all these crazy shapes, and it's all ice, and we're just heading up, 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 one step at a time. Alright, we just saw some crazy shit go down. There was this, it turns out it was a dad and a daughter, and they were walking about, what do you think, 100 yards? 100 yards ahead of us, and we just hear this giant rock avalanche just like cover them in like loud, like big rocks. We can't see it because it's completely dark out here. And the guy just got nailed by like rocks. It was like right in the path where we're heading.
Ben and I just got back from a little date where we were talking about him climbing a mountain and the very real possibility of him never coming back. He told me that he didn't want me to have regrets and second guess and say, oh, there's something I should have done differently. What I said to him is, I don't think I'll have regrets because I really believe in what they're doing. I think Ben climbing the mountain and Ben sharing that with our kids is a part of who he is. And I really want him to be able to share that with the kids. And I actually do think that that would be worth dying for. I want to champion who my husband is, who God has made him to be, what God has put inside of him to share with others, including our kids, especially our kids. It was cool to hear him say that he wasn't afraid to die, that he would feel like I lived a good life. Definitely that conversation's a heavy one, not really one that I really even want to have. It's like a checking point of, am I going to let my husband go in my heart? Am I going to let my children go in my heart and release them into God's care? I never want my kids or my husband to be so important to me that I'm not willing to let them go and do and be who God intends them to be. They were made for him, and he's planning on coming back. I'm planning on him coming back.
That got real fast.
I'm really scared, and I don't really think it's worth it either way, if we make it or don't make it.
So we sat here and talked, and thought, you know, we could go forward and probably be okay, but kind of took the fun out of it too. And we're here more to be together than to climb a stupid mountain. Check that out. We're in the most beautiful location. There's just so much to see around here. Wow.
There was a big, heavy noise, and actually I was in the middle of the rock avalanche. So I dug as close as possible to the ground, so the rock were actually hitting my back, not my head. And there was, of course, I was a little bit suffocating because of the dust. And then, you know, it stopped, and my daughter was a little bit crying. Are you alive? And I say, no, I'm okay. It hurts, but you know, I'm okay.
So did you think you were gonna die?
Yeah, I was waiting for some blow, you know, like for some big impact, because I heard that those big rocks, and actually there was pretty steep slope. So if they will hit me, I will continue with the avalanche down the hill. It wasn't, you know, I was not in a safe spot.
He said they're standing over here celebrating his resurrection.
Actually, this is exactly. I think the worst feeling was my daughter, yeah? She because she saw it. She saw the big...
His face in a cloud of dust, thinking that he's not going to make it.
I will have some bruises probably on my back, but nothing really serious. I think maybe overnight I will have some nightmare.
Oh my gosh, I know.
But at that moment you are just like, you know, it's just too intense to feel any type of fear.
And what's your name?
Tomas.
Tomas, I am glad you're alive.
Yeah, thank you. That was scary.
The sun just came up. It changes everything. The colors on the mountain are so different right now. Sorry, I'm eating a gummy worm.
Yeah, baby.
Look at that rock. That's called Gibraltar Rock. These are called the Cathedral Rocks. That's Little Tahoma right there. That's the climbing route we were gonna do. That's the Disappointment Cleaver. We would have climbed all the way up there, and you can actually see the summit up there. Not today. You can see where our campsite is right now. It's right at the tip of that ice axe. That's where we stayed last night. We're almost back. This kind of stuff is really tough. We're walking on dust and rocks with spikes on our feet. Gotta be careful not to twist an ankle. It's getting warm out though, the sun's out. We're coming up on this last crevasse. These things are actually pretty crazy. All right, here we go. 1, 2. They just like go. You can't even like really see the bottom. This is why you're on a rope. Good job. We had a few snacks, packed up our stuff, talked about taking a nap, but then decided we're heading for the car to see family. That is where we're going down there.
Oh my God. I kept on slipping.
Seven's describing what the climb was like for him.
One of my goals was not to let anything get to me, for me to like start crying or get hurt. So I just tried my best to stick to it, and I did. I like stayed behind my dad the whole time of the dangerous parts, and I was alright.
Did you like it?
Yeah, especially the parts when we slid down the snow.
What was the scariest part?
Well, besides that avalanche problem, the ladder. Because I was attached to all these ropes that I didn't even know what went to, so I just did what you said.
What was the hardest thing for you?
It's kind of different, like, because with the Wonderland Trail, you get to a point, like, you're going in a loop. You get to a point where, like, it would be way longer to turn back. But for this, it would be like, oh, I could turn back any time. Like,
You guys want to do it again?
not right now.
We are home. I'm not sure if Cammie knows that I'm coming home right now.
Good night.
Hey! Good to see ya. There. Hi.
Super serious. I was praying. Oh my gosh, are you okay? They all look a little shell shocked.
It was like that. He was like, so like he tried to stop, and then like she couldn't. So like he like stop, bang.
They're telling their cousins the story, and we're all kind of celebrating that we're back together again. Oh. When I got home, I took a nap for 2 or 3 hours on the trampoline.
There were kids screaming and splashing in the pool, and he didn't move at all.
My face feels like super hot, like it's on fire. I don't know if you can tell, I'm somewhere. Can you see my hand?
I'm glad to have them home, safe and sound.
Cammie was showing us that there's these verses all over the walls that they were reading while we were gone.
The main gist of those verses for me was that man plans his course, but God is the one who actually guides him. I was praying that for Ben because he essentially was the guide on this trip.
I've been reflecting on the decision this morning, and it was a really tough decision because we had put so much energy into planning this trip. You know, in a way, thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours. 3,000 feet from the summit, that's nothing. You know, at 2 a.m., we were in good shape. The kids were nailing it. you know, we could have made it. Just because something happened, you know, I was thinking, well, what are the chances of it happening again? That this rockfall happens on the mountain. It's just like a normal thing, but normally you don't see it like that close. It was a tough decision for me. It felt like a more emotional decision in a way.
Which maybe feels less valid to you.
Yeah, I knew statistically we were okay. Just because you see a car wreck doesn't mean you don't not drive a car anymore.
Down with the trampoline.
Like if that would have happened 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after, we wouldn't even be thinking about canceling or quitting, you know, but it just happened right then. It's just one of those things. But ultimately I was talking to my cousin and climbing partner and the kids and really asking people how they were feeling after that. And it just wasn't there anymore. And I was leaning probably 60-40 towards continuing the trip, but after just assessing where people were at, it was like, this isn't the day for this.
But it was still a good day.
It was a great day. I don't have any regrets about going on the trip. I don't have any regrets about canceling it. But I was really proud of the kids. I was proud of my cousin. We really got what we came for, which is the time together and to see the sunrise above the cloud line. And
I'm proud of him for the decision making that he did. I feel like the decision he made, it didn't make him look good in a sense of, now I can tell everyone we summited with my kids. He made a very calculated decision that had very little to do with himself. I think that really is the measure of a man.
when she tells me that, it makes me feel really good. Because when I made the decision, I felt like it was the right decision, but I didn't feel good about it. I think I've attempted Rainier 10 or 15 times even, and I've summited 5 times. So I know what it's like to turn around, and it can be hard. But, you know, Garrett said this one thing to me, that he was quoting this famous mountaineer, Ed Viesturs, and he said, getting up is optional, but getting home is mandatory. But thanks for being a part of this, and we'll see you guys tomorrow in a much more normal day after some sleep and recovery and unpacking. We were hiking up, and I was showing the kids. I was like, "That's the Nisqually Glacier."
Wow.
I wanted to name a kid Nisqually after this glacier,
Yeah.
but it never flew with Cammy or the kids, so we settled for Rainier, which I think is a pretty bomber name too.